Hello everyone, this is D. James with the North Carolina Wildlife Resource Commission, and I'm the hunting specialist for our state. In this particular video, we're going to talk about tree stand equipment. Now obviously there's some safety facets like one would learn at a hunter education class, but for me this is about personal hunting equipment that I use. So you get the safety, but you also get what I'm used during a hunting season. So for example, this bow case right here, it's a crossbow case. People use different types of archery equipment. I use a crossbow, I've used a compound bow, recurve bow. This will represent the bow in this case. I don't bring the crossbow. I'm not trying to provide any, okay, you should buy this or you should buy that. This just represents that, and I will usually carry it in the woods with my crossbow when I'm headed to my spot in the morning to keep it kind of safe too. This is my tree stand bag. This contains all the essentials that I will need when I'm getting out into the tree stand, when I'm climbing up, climbing down. This is also very important because this is a number one safety. This is a harness. This goes on, it's also referred to as a fast fall arrest system. It's called several different things. Usually you will get one that has just the straps only with the tree stand when you buy it. But I do like the ones with the vest. They work out really nice and they're much easier to put on in the dark. There also is a rope for that when you're climbing up that attaches to that vest. That is a lineman's rope, and what this does is it goes around a tree, as you will see in our tree stand video, and it keeps you tethered to that tree. That is the most important thing. Most falls occur when people are either climbing or coming down. If you stay tethered, you're not going to fall. So it's kind of like the seatbelt in a car. If you don't wear it, you're at risk, and I always do. Once I'm to the top, to that perfect point where I like to be, which is typically 18 to 20 feet. That's how I like to go in a climbing tree stand, like I'll just touch on briefly over here. Then this rope goes around the tree, and the top of your harness attaches to one of these carabiners, and you are safe. I mean, I've fallen asleep in my climber. I feel very safe in it, but I'm always tethered. The other thing is important too is when you are climbing the tree, you don't want to be carrying equipment. Equipment stays on the ground, but we use something referred to as a haul rope. You attach that to the equipment, and after you're securely set up in your tree stand, you use this to haul up whatever pieces of equipment up in the tree with you. I use 3 of them, and one is really for my tree stand bag, once I get most of the things out of it. Also for my backpack that has a lot of clothing in it, because I do change into different clothing, and then also for some other miscellaneous calls or items or whatever I may still have on the ground. Very important. Some people only use 1 haul rope. Don't need 3. I do. Once I'm up there, there's also a gear rope that goes around that tree. And if I have some items, maybe I want to put a pair of binoculars on there or whatever, these have hooks on them. So that way it stays there. It's ready when I need it right behind me on the tree. This is a little belt that goes with most tree stands as well. The bottom is pretty secured in by itself, but the top needs a little stabilization, and this is a cinch belt that holds it into place. This is a very important item that I got a number of years ago. They're not readily available, but you can create one. It basically looks like a treble hook, but they're not sharp like a treble hook for fishing. Not sharp though, and it has a long rope attached. What's it for? Well, many people have sometimes been up in a tree, they're up there moving around, they have their equipment, their phone, whatever, and it falls on the ground. In most cases, what you need to do is climb back down. Once I'm up there, I don't want to come down, so I was looking for something that helped. This does. If it falls on the ground and there's anything to grasp or whatever, you cast it down, probably got a 30-foot rope, pull it up. And as I often say, and I've said at seminars, things get a little slow during the day, you're a little bit bored, which I'm rarely, if ever, bored in a tree stand. You just take like a grunt call, like, different type of equipment or maybe a hat, throw it on the ground, there you got a little game. Just don't get caught. If a deer's on his way in, that's not a good thing. The other thing, when you're climbing into a tree or once you're already there, you may need to cut a few little branches. I know sometimes on a big tree there was like a little branch sticking out that I couldn't get past when I was climbing. This is a little saw for doing that. We don't want to go in the woods, especially on public land, and cutting trees down, but just pruning little branches so you can get up or down is great. And then once you're up there, if the canopy, if the foliage, if there's a lot of it, you may need to just use these pruning shears and trim a little bit so that you have a clear shot for making a quick, humane kill. No matter where it is, you will need to go. And there is number 1 and number 2, and of course we won't discuss it here. But then this bag, I carry a bladder that I've carried a number of years. Actually, I have a couple of these. That is a urinal, basically. And once I use it, it goes inside of here. And believe me, when I'm up in my tree, I like to drink, because I can be up there for 13 hours, and I mean drink water or coffee or whatever. You will need to go. Well, I'm also the type of person that I will need to go in other ways too. Number 2. This is something I've created, won't get into details, but it helps me to stay in the tree stand all day. Do you have to do that? No. You could easily climb down and go. But in my opinion, while I'm up there, there could be a deer moving around. All of a sudden, that deer was ready to come into me and I needed to climb down. Don't get a shot opportunity. Do you need it? No. Is it nice? Absolutely. This is a 2-piece climber. Again, we'll see this in the tree stand video. I like 2-piece climbers because they are very portable. There's all kind of hunting stands. There's ladder stands, there's tripod stands, there's tower stands, there's ground blinds for those that don't like heights. But me, I like these because they're portable. You can take them anywhere, quick up, quick down. And I'll be 60 years old in a month, and I've been using climbers for my whole life, and I will use them for as long as I can. Once I have my crossbow up into the tree stand and say I don't get a shot, crossbows aren't like a compound or a recurve where you can just, it's just pull back and let go. You've got to release that energy in that crossbow, and I don't like to lower my crossbow with, it fully drawn back. So what I will do is plant this before I even hunt a short distance away from the tree, and I will fire a bolt, an arrow, into it, and that releases the crossbow. And I've been doing that for a long time, covered it up with some burlap, works out real nice. I will also sometimes hunt for up to a week in the same tree stand, whether it be public land or private land. So I don't want to carry the tree stand out until after I've harvested deer. So I will bolt that, actually build it with some cables and a lock, to prevent theft. Usually you don't need to worry about that, but you never know. And after it is chained like that or cabled, I will also cover it up with some trash bags to keep the seats dry, and then also camo. And I bungee that, all these bungees that are on this right now that have held this together, it creates a nice little neat package on the tree that when you come to in the morning, all you need to do is clean it up. And again, most of this stuff that I'm doing is in the dark because I'm going in early in the morning. So that's enough for the tree stand equipment. Thanks for watching. Stay safe out there and remain ethical. Have a great day.